Joining me right now, Florida Congressman and House Judiciary Committee member, Republican Matt Gaetz. Congressman, welcome back. Let me get to Biden in just a second. Let me start, first of all, with what the heck is going on with Nancy Pelosi, because she was going to have this big press conference at 6:30, and it got delayed. And then she came out and said, I just want everyone to know, we're not going to take an impeachment vote, which, you know, I guess we kind of knew already. What was going on there?
Well, we Republicans have been pushing for a vote so that there are procedures, so that we know who's able to attend the hearings, who's able to present evidence, and so that we might have the same rights in defending President Trump against an improper impeachment that Democrats had when they defended Bill Clinton. We're asking for no more or no less than Bill Clinton got as far as due process, but Nancy Pelosi wants to run an unfair impeachment, and thus she doesn't want to have a vote. What I can tell you, Trish, is that over the break, many of my Democrat colleagues received phone calls from Jim Clyburn, the whip of the Democratic caucus. And so it must be that when the whip reported back to Nancy Pelosi regarding those conversations, that there was not sufficient support in the Democratic caucus to move forward with an impeachment vote. That's deeply troubling because this impeachment is damaging our country. It's damaging our president's hand as he tries to settle global peace and as he tries to make the world a safer place. And yet Democrats aren't willing to put their own name to their own flawed impeachment investigation.
Listen, I mean, when I heard this news and we heard she was going to have this press conference, and it was quite possible that she was going to say, look, we have the votes and we're going to have a vote on impeachment, I thought, hallelujah, right? Because it feels like that's a more democratic, more fair process. And the president has already said, and we can show the viewer here, that if it's a fair process, if they actually took a vote, he'd be willing to turn over whatever he needs to turn over. Here we go.
If they vote and say you can't have lawyers, you can't ask questions, you can't have anybody present, all of these crazy things. And even some of the reporters said to me, it really is an unfair situation.
If Pelosi holds a vote on the floor on impeachment and commits to the rules of previous impeachment proceedings, you'll participate in that investigation?
Yeah, if the rules are fair, because I don't know exactly your definition. If Republicans get a fair shake.
Okay, but we've just learned from Nancy Pelosi that's actually not going to happen. So let me switch gears here with you, sir. And, you know, I understand you were kicked out of an impeachment hearing just yesterday, the Fiona Hill deposition, which is the member of the Judiciary Committee. They said that, you know, you would have, according to precedent, had the right to attend, but you got kicked out, and you're calling out Democrat Adam Schiff for this. Here we go. Well, this was you just in the moments after. Forgive me.
Why is Adam Schiff trying to run a kangaroo court? Why is he continuing to limit access to evidence, limit access even from members of Congress? So I'm deeply disappointed that as a member of the House Judiciary Committee, on behalf of my constituents, I'm unable to participate and listen to the questions and answers.
So that was you just right after. Are you still as mad?
I am. I'm deeply frustrated. I'm frustrated on behalf of our country. And I'm also a bit flummoxed because on September 12th, it was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, who launched the impeachment investigation. And now the members of our own committee aren't able to participate in the investigation that our own chairman started. And it shows that this is like watching the Keystone Cops trying to organize an impeachment process, and it erodes any confidence that the American people would have in the results. I'm an old litigator. I can tell you, Trish, that when your facts are good, you want people to see them. You want them exposed so that they can be absorbed into the factual understanding of what occurred. But here Adam Schiff's facts are terrible, and so their strategy throughout this whole process will be to keep evidence away from the American people, selectively leak information out of context to liberal news outlets, and hope that that pollutes the American public on the work of this president, work that I believe was entirely appropriate based on the reporting that you were commenting on in your opening. Hunter Biden is a person who should be investigated. Either he was conning the Americans or he was conning the Ukrainians, because he admitted that he only had the job because of his last name. So if he was leveraging that last name to give access that otherwise wouldn't have been granted, that's a betrayal of America. And if he was just taking 50 grand a month and doing nothing for the Ukrainians, well, it still makes America look bad that you've got the son of the Vice President of the United States out shaking people down for money, apparently for access that may or may not have been delivered. In either case, it's bad for our country, and Hunter Biden shows that Donald Trump's got a lot of work to do still to drain the swamp in this town.
All right. Well, thank you. Congressman Gaetz, and you're not old, not an old litigator.